because it's quite a different way of working and potentially a different set of skills when you have a fixed kind of scope. Like you say, you know, they're requesting something, you maybe have to like scope it out and understand what it is that they're requesting. And then it's kind of scoping and delivery.
Mm,
Um, and managing delivery. But then you kind of said you moved more into like that sort of product way of thinking of like understanding the customer need,
mm.
understanding what to say no to. So in that change, did you need to change the team at all? Or like you mentioned you introduced principles and like a product strategy, but were there any other changes that you needed to make in order to make that a successful transition into a product team?
Okay.
Or if you
Yes.
didn't change the team, how did you support the team in understanding like how to function as a product team as opposed to a project team?
Exactly. So we had to basically not change the team, but restructure the team. So what we did first was to ensure that was to define what is that we are building. Right? What is the product about? Which family of product are we building? And then through that thinking, we realize that what we are doing is a service management platform. Because at the end of the day, government services are services. And then they want a form where people can apply. They want a workflow. They want payment capabilities and those kind of things. So we first have to say, okay, what we are building is actually a service management platform. It just happened that we are serving only government today, right? So once we had that realization, we formalized what is the product all about, service management platform. Now we had a team that was now focused on, we built a team that was now focused on, okay, this service management platform had to have capabilities. Which capabilities should we build? Which capabilities do you have today? Recognizing already that capability, naming them, because we even have to say, okay, this feature is not just a feature. We need to give it a name so that we elevate it a bit. So once
Mhm.
you recognize all those capabilities, we now say, okay, these are the capabilities. What is the strategy that we can put in place to make sure that we have a consistent way to keep adding capabilities without destroying the nature of the product? So, and then we had a team that was now focused on that, on the platform. And we had another team that keeps working on projects, which was what the role was to do implementation. So you have the platform, but you need to onboard services on the platform. That
Mhm.
team continued to work with a project approach, but they were building on top of a platform for which we had a dedicated product team that was supposed that is working to improve the capabilities of the platform. Yeah.
And did you go, sorry, I know this is about moving from one product to multiple products, but I'm really interested in how you move from project to product as well, because I think that is something that a lot of businesses, especially in the early days when you're
Mhm.
starting up, you know, you're delivering things as projects, and then you kind of at that point, like you say, you realize actually this could work for other businesses too, and then and I think it's a great strategy as well for a startup. But so with that change as well, did that come like from you? Did you have any pushback? Did you need to win people over in order to convince them that this other way of working was going to be beneficial to the business? And if you needed to do that, like how did you do that?
Okay, I think for us it was not that difficult because the CEO was at the time had a very product and technology background.
Oh, nice.
So yes, so it was an easy goal. Yes,
Yeah.
it was an easy battle. I would say yes. So I think the challenge was mainly on our client side, the government, because when we introduced that, we introduced some form of slowness in the process because to build the platform, it means that you have to refocus, and also
Yeah.
means that you have to standardize. So,
Mhm.
and when you start to standardize, it means that you now have a framework to say, oh, this kind of things we are not doing, this kind of things we do, or this is how things work on the platform. So, and sometimes clients will have specific requests. I mean, they will give you solutions for to their problems. Before, with the previous approach, we will have done what they ask us. Oh, you want this solution? Okay, we are going to do it. Now we say, you want this solution, but what is the problem that you're trying to solve? Okay, there's another capability on the platform that can solve that problem. Not exactly the way you wanted to, but we are still solve that problem. So that work also came in even, but internally it was mainly with our sales team as well, because our sales team was also used to, we come with things that the clients wants, you do it. But now there was a bit of pushback. You come with it, you say, this is a solution, can we go figure out what is the problem and then you come back? So we also have to adapt our working collaboration with the sales team so that they get used to it and also have better conversation with the clients as well. Yeah.
Did that process go smoothly as well, or are there any sort of lessons learned from that part of the change that you had to make with your customers?
Okay, I think the biggest lesson learned is that something that we didn't do, I think that we should have done, was to bring customers along the journey of,
Hmm.
okay, we are going through this transition. This is how it's going to benefit you maybe over the next 6 to 12 months. And this is what you should expect going forward from this platform.
Hmm.
So one of the benefit, for example, of that standardization was that the features were not available to all customers. Before, we're building on demand. So a customer wants this, they want a specific dashboard. We go build their dashboard. They want a specific report, we go build it. They want a specific feature, we go build it. But with the platform approach, all features are available to all customers. So it's just now a matter of them to consume it, right? And without any further development. Yes. So, but that one didn't happen. So it means that even when we moved to the platform, not all the customers started to benefit from the new features because they were not even aware that, oh, there are these new features that are available for me to
Okay.
consume. Yes. And then the value that they are getting from the platform was not, I would say, increased that much. So that's something that we could have done to ease the adoption process and then to bring customers along, because what they were realizing only was that their solution, there was more work required when they were asking us to build things, because we need to go sit with them, talk to them, try to understand the problem. And they say, no, me, I want this. We say, okay, a second. What do you want to solve with that thing? So those conversations were a bit much more painful than before. Yeah. So that's one
Yeah.
of the things that I think we could have done better. The other thing that I was also thinking about was to early on to map what are those new features, because even internally there was that misalignment on this is what every customer should not expect from this platform in terms of benefits. Right? So it means that even when we were building things, they were not activated, if I could put it that way, for customers. And even the sales team was not aware that given this new approach of work, this is a set of features that I can now sell to customer, or I can now go to meet existing customer to push them to use it to increase their retention, their satisfaction, and those kind of things. Yeah. So, and sometimes we get a request that will come after, and then we say, but this request is already available. Why? We don't need the request. There's this feature that can solve that, right? But because that awareness was not there, it was a challenge. So I will also put that under the sales enablement that we usually talk about in B2B context. Even that realization that, now our product is becoming a platform for B2B, and it means that the relationship between product and sales has to be, I would say, reinvented, right?
Yeah.
So product is no longer there to implement requests. They are also there to enable or to empower the sales team with the features of the platform. So that one also, we didn't do that the right way at the beginning. So, but we managed to catch up after. But I think that if we would have done that a bit earlier, it would ease the process as well for the sales team and then even for the product. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And what about pricing through this as well? Like, how did it affect your pricing strategy?
Okay, that's another interesting topic.
It could be a
Because
whole
pricing, for the pricing, we are using a model of revenue share. So basically, uh, the citizen will use the platform, and then the government will pay for every transactions. We will take a share basically. So
yeah.
now on the pricing, we decided not to impact the pricing, because for us, we're like, okay, now we have enough arguments to justify our price, because we are also having feedback that our pricing is too high and things like that. So we were saying that, okay, now maybe we can now better map the price to the value. And
Hmm.
that's also something that we missed when we didn't empower properly the sales team with all the features, because we're not able also to have those kind of conversations with the client to say, look, the price that you are charging, this is the whole value that we are offering to you. Right? So it was not there. We're only limited on, your services are digitized, your services are on the platform. That's it. But once you move to this new product, this new platform approach, there are other features that are platforms that are available to all of them. Yeah. So that's a bit the situation that we had.
Yeah. Pricing is always tricky, isn't it?
Yes.
But it sounds like it was actually fairly simple in your case with if it's mainly revenue share. But and then you talked about you introduced or you converted one of your features of the platform, the payment gateway, into a product. And also I believe the identity solution, the kind of KYC, know your customer solution into a product as well. So what was that like moving from, that single platform product to then having multiple products to manage? And how did you evolve the teams so that they were managing those multiple products? Did you have one product manager managing everything until that grew, or how did you scale it as those products became their own thing?
Okay. I think we start with the payment. For the payment, very early on, we decided to have a dedicated product manager because it was clear that this is completely different from what we had on the government. And then the product managers that were working on the government platform, they have so much bias with the government platform that they were not able to really put themselves in the shoes of, okay, this is a payment platform. And what we really wanted to do was to say, you know what, the Gov platform has to adapt to the payment platform because the payment platform should be able to serve many clients. And then if needed, then the Gov platform will adapt. But what we realized is that the product manager working on the Gov were not able because of the bias to drive that kind of change, right? So we said, okay, look, we are going to have a different product manager for the payment platform. And then we made it very clear to the product manager that the Gov client is not driving you. You are the one driving them. You need to look at what are the standards, what is the standard APIs that we need to have, should we make it very easy to use, how do we make it so that it can work for other scenarios, and then you are going to ask the Gov team to adapt to it. Yes, so that's one of the things that we did. So we built a completely different teams, and then we also try to put in place clear separation to be like, okay, you're on the payment platform. You don't care about what's happening on the Gov platform. Treat them as a client, like maybe as a P1 priority one client, but at the end of the day, they are a client, right? So, and you need to think from a platform perspective. You don't want to build a product that is too much customized for a client, otherwise you cannot scale it. Yes.
Yeah.
So that's a bit what we did. It was not easy, the transition, because even when the team came, at that time, the government platform was generating, I would say, 99% of the revenue. So the whole company is talking about the government platform. So you're a product manager on the payment platform, but the whole company is talking about the government platform. So you might feel like, my job is to serve these people, right? My only job is to serve these people. So I will do everything I can to serve them. So, but it took a bit of time, but I think they managed to understand that, okay, it's a completely different products, especially when we started to have the first client. Something that we also did was they are the team that started the weekly customer interviews. So we told them that, okay, look, every week you need to go talk to customers. And for me, it was very critical because it was important for them to get a perspective from external customers about what the product should do, what the product should serve, that they are not too much influenced by the needs from the government platform teams. Yeah. So that's a bit how we went about it. And in terms of the teams, so we had to divide the team from the product management, product design, even the software engineers. And we even went up to the DevOps team, the security team to need to allocate resources only working on the payment platform so that we can grow it because we're seeing clear potential around that product. So yeah, it was important to allocate the right resources from the get-go at that point.
This episode is